Wow, so it's been 4 long years since ReZero Season 1 finished airing, and now we got ReZero Season 2. And I gotta just ask, insert corny who's Rem joke here. Who's Rem? Who's Rem? Seriously, if you follow me on Twitter, that was one of the first things that kind of jumped out at me immediately. Is like, this is how we're starting it? Really? We're really going here again? Like, I thought we was past the point of disrespecting one of the greatest ride or die waifus in anime history, but we're okay, alright, ReZero Season 2, I see what we're doing here. We're starting with more pain, tragedy, and trauma. ReZero, folks. Let's talk about the first couple episodes.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
That's right, people. ReZero Season 2 has finally come out. I've been wondering what the hell was going on. I want to say at the time of it wrapping up the first season, they didn't have much material to go off, so it was going to be a bit until we got the second season, and it's finally here. And to be honest with you, the first episode alone already opened up and set the tone for what I presume this season is going to be, similar to what that first season was, and that's absolute tragedy, misery, the type of shit that would make Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul want to jump off a fucking bridge. And he probably would. I mean, Subaru would. Now, I'll be honest with you, there is a lot of stuff because I never got around to checking out the director's cut, which I do think that was a smart move of them releasing that director's cut of season 1 in order to get people familiar with it, but also say, hey, there's, you know, tidbits here or there that you never seen before, so you should definitely rewatch. And I really wish I would have, because there's some elements that I'm a little bit like confused about, but for the most part it started coming back to me as I was watching the first ep and the second ep as well, of like, oh, okay, this is what's going on, this is here, because, you know, there's a lot to this story. ReZero is a little bit more complex than the average anime because you got all of these elements. Of course, the Subaru being able to revive after killing himself or dying in general and starting the story over. There's the subplot, I guess you would argue, or the main plot, I don't know what you would call it, about the people trying to fighting to run the kingdom and shit. There's a lot to digest coming into this one, but definitely that first episode alone, I would say, not only from a viewer standpoint, because I do think majority of people that were watching this probably were like, oh god, we're going back down this dark route of misery and tragedy for this character Subaru. But on a personal level, for myself, it was really hard to get through that first episode, and I'm talking about specifically emotionally, because, you know, the first episode opens up and it strikes us all where it hurts the most. It hits us home with, once again, nobody but Subaru remembers Rem. And when he says, like, you know, oh, I gotta confess to you, Amelia, Rem confessed to me the way I love you, and she says, who's Rem? I was just like, are you kidding me right now? And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, and it was mentioned as well within the episodes, the first 2 episodes, about the white whale, and that was the big thing that was stopping people from remembering Rem. Every time the white whale came, it was like washing away memories. Now we got something different going on, and I'm just like, wow. Because, like, while it did grace us with some crazy action pieces, like, at least we got to see a little bit of Rem being awake, because she's fighting those freaking witches, or whatever the heck they're called, and, you know, the little guy and shit like that. I'm like, okay, we got some really dope action, and the art and animation is kicking off on point. Everything is a go. But when we hit to, like, oh, so Rem is going to be asleep, and I don't know how long that's going to last. Is it going to be until mid-season? Is this going to be in totality? I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna be a big fan of it if we have no Rem up until like episode 23 or 24, assuming that it's going to be a 2-core season for ReZero Season 2. I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed. Rem is probably my favorite character of this. Like, Subaru, you know, everything he goes through, it makes you want him to be, and he kind of becomes one of your favorite characters as well. But I'm all the way diehard Rem. Amelia, cool and all, and she has her own struggles and her own secrets that she's still kind of holding from Subaru and shit like that. But I'm a Rem guy, so you start off the series telling me my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters, is not going to be really heavily involved, and it's kind of striking Subaru really hard. It makes me a little bit like, I'm still very, very interested and I'm still gonna watch, but damn, why are you gonna do me like that? Because alone, I will say this, if you were a little bit skeptical, like I don't know if I should get into ReZero Season 2, I seen Season 1, I really liked it, but you know, I'm not sure. I ain't gonna lie, it really hooks you, especially that ending. I want to say it was the ending of episode 1. Again, maybe I'm mixing it up with episode 2 because I just saw them back to back or whatnot, but that part where Subaru tells Amelia, hey, can you turn around for a minute? I'm thinking, yo, what we about to see here right now? Is he about to just get his freaky deek on in front of Rem sleeping there and shit? Like, what are you about to do? And then when he hits us with, because I gotta cry. Woo! Just talking about that right now definitely hits home. It's very, very like setting the tone of this is going to be once again as dark, as depressing, and as tragic as season 1 was. Every time Subaru had to kill himself over and over and over, he was dying over and over and over again and having to repeat shit. It was tough, and it seems as though we're going to be going down that route again. But I see a big lesson that first episode also introduced us to, and that's that it's giving Subaru some development and an understanding of he can't rely on that power of killing himself to fix shit again. Some things is just going to be out of your hands. That's definitely a big life lesson in and of itself. Like, no matter how strong you think you are, no matter how much power you think you may have, some stuff is going to be out of your hands. And it was really, really dark and very, very heavy when Subaru basically said, well, if I gotta fight Beltegeese, Beetlejuice, again, so be it. And, he takes the thing and stabs himself in the neck because he wants Rem so badly to wake up. And then he realizes that there's nothing he can do about this situation. He's going to continue to go back to that moment where Amelia said, who's Rem? It was definitely eye-opening, a very big lesson for the character himself that stop relying on that power. You got to do things sometimes in a different manner, and some things again is just out of your control. So I felt it, honestly. I felt as though like that first episode alone just really set the tone. The second episode really dope as well, and again it's just like darker and darker. Like when he goes to the library, Subaru goes to the library to talk with Beatrice, and she's just there distraught, which I was a little bit confused as well as to why she was distraught, because it seems as though she really started getting emotional after finding out that Beetlejuice or Beltegeese was killed, and she's like, oh, but you didn't kill the witch, which definitely was introducing another plot point where she was like, you didn't kill the other part or something along the lines of that. Again, it's a little bit confusing coming from 4 years of not seeing the first season, which I really should go back and at the very least skim through some of it to kind of refresh my memory, because there are a few things that I'm a little bit loopy about. But it was interesting as well, because it's like, okay, so he doesn't have Rem anymore, at least for the time being, even though that's like his main objective once again, to get Rem's memories back. He doesn't have Rem. Beatrice seems as though she really doesn't want to help him, throws him out of the library, gives him one pointer, like, you got to go over there and get the hell out of my face, throws him out of the library. So it's like, it's really now Subaru, basically, I think that's another lesson. It's like, yo, you got to stand on your own too. You got to stand 10 toes down by yourself in order to get shit done sometimes. And I felt that as well, like a lot of lessons in these 2 episodes. And we got introduced to a new character basically after Rem disappeared from everyone's memories. Ram, her sister, couldn't keep up the uptake on the mansion, so they brought back somebody that was initially, I guess, one of the maids and whatnot. So we got introduced to a new character that was, I guess, originally there. I don't remember in season 1 if they mentioned that there was a worker that had just quit or something along the lines of that, but Subaru says that. So we got that character, which I'm curious to see how she's going to move the plot, if she's going to have any relevance at all other than just being like, a side character or something along the lines of that. So we got that element in there as well. We also got like the big grand scheme of things, and this is where again it started getting a little bit complicated for me to remember, of basically some of the other characters saying, yo, we need to break this alliance, it's not working, and there was like some politics there. So again, stuff like I will tell you right now, if you're trying to get into ReZero Season 2 and you haven't watched Season 1 since it finished airing back in 2016, you're gonna have some problems. I had some problems trying to remember shit and trying to understand it, like, why is it that they're doing this again? What happened here? So definitely a few complications. That one character that Subaru kind of bullies and like shuts the window on him when he's trying to talk to him and Amelia, the dude that was like a scaredy cat and helped him out, that was funny seeing him again. So a lot of elements I really personally enjoy, and I feel as though the best ReZero so far season 2 has been is when we see Subaru and what he is going through internally, the lessons that he is taking, and how he's going to navigate through all this. That's right now what I'm really, really interested in, and ReZero Season 2 looks like it's going to be once again one of those anime of the season type of deal. Like, I'm really digging it. It's just again a little bit of a refresher that I need in order to truly understand everything once again. But I ain't gonna lie, when he said, oh, I gotta fight Beltegeese again and all that shit, I was kind of looking forward to it. I wouldn't have minded at all retracing those steps, especially if it meant bringing back Rem, because that was very emotional for for myself watching it. I ain't gonna lie, it really hit home, and it was tough. And again, like I said, when I started the episode, and I think it was about 3 minutes into episode 1 of season 2, and Amelia says, "Who's Rem?" I was just losing my fucking mind. Like, wow. I think a lot of that has to do with, and again, I'm not sure how the material works or whatever, but there's a huge possibility that they've seen that the fandom loved that part of the story and figuring it out, and the memes and all that shit, and maybe they wanted to incorporate it more into stuff. Again, it's like, it's kind of a 50-50, because again, taking out the fan favorite character, Rem is a lot of people's favorite, including mine, and completely removing her from the situation, just having her like a sleeping beauty situation, is a little bit of a turnoff, but it gives Subaru another objective above all else with, you know, helping Amelia and stuff like that. Because like, as I'm watching again, I start remembering like that one dude that gave Subaru the beats, and Subaru thought he was gonna do something. I really hope by the end of season 2, here's something that I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Subaru gets a little bit more confidence and his character improves in those regards, like, because throughout the episodes he keeps putting himself down, and I'm kind of like, damn bro, we need to elevate past that. He constantly calls himself pathetic, says that he's powerless, that he's weak and shit like that. And I was hoping by, you know, especially after the events of season 1, surviving Belteguise, saving Rem at that particular point, at least standing up for Amelia's honor, a lot of shit, I was hoping that those elements of him doubting himself and putting himself down so much would have kind of evaporated a bit, but it seems to be very prevalent, and I think a lot of that is tied to what is going on with Rem. So maybe once he saves Rem again and gets her the memory of her back to everybody, then he'll kind of feel a little bit more confidence, because right now it's like, damn bro, you looking a little rough out there with all that, you know, self-doubt and shitting on yourself. I'm just saying. I ain't even gonna lie, a part of me feels like ReZero is a bit too depressing for me at this particular point, and maybe it's due to like personal stuff or whatever, but like, this feels like this is so depressing, especially knowing what Subaru's been through, and more than likely what he's gonna continue to go through. I mean, again, for Christ's sake, dude's basically committing seppuku to try and get a restart and shit like that. Like, knowing all of that is like, yo, this is like the most, hands down, probably the most depressing anime of this year, and it just feels like, gosh darn it, man, this is too depressing for me, too tragic, too but yeah, ReZero season 2 so far off to a very, very strong start, very depressing and emotionally tied start. Curious what you guys think about this. For starters, if you haven't seen ReZero since 2016 when it finished airing, or even in a few years, are you feeling a little bit like it's a little hard to understand and grasp some stuff because you can't remember everything, or you remembering it just fine? Also, for people that, you know, completely remember and maybe you just watched the director's cut, how are you taking this season so far? In general, what have been some of your favorite moments? Do you think that it's maybe too much that they're going immediately again with the Rem being erased from people's memories parts? That's something that I'm like, I'm conflicted, just because I love the character, and also this is kind of retreading a plot line that we kind of already went through with the white whale and getting her memories back, and it's like, here we go again, bring in the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas meme. Oh shit, here we go again. Like, that's what it feels like. And your overall thoughts and expectations for ReZero season 2 moving forward? Do you think that this is going to be the anime of this season and potentially even the following season, depending on if they split up the cores or not, or like it's kind of been too long? Like, I'll say with ReZero, because it wasn't like an Attack on Titan type of deal, like, I'm not mad at it taking that 4 years, because it was like, we didn't even know if we was going to get another season because they didn't have enough material at the time. So it didn't feel like too much of a wait. The problem, like I said, that I'm facing right now is I kind of need to freshen up on it, because it's hard to follow some stuff. But that's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are indeed in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and oh boy, here we go again. Rem, no. Poor Subaru, bro. Like, shit is tragic.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go, admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace.
Who's Rem?